Academia. Ah, yes. Finally, I can flex my intellectual elitism on you hapless indie warriors. I can taste your inferiority, and it is repugnant, which I like. This is Adventure Academia, the Fractured Continent. And for all my prattling on about supposed snobbery, when I read this title, my brain autofilled the title to Adventure Academia, the Fractured Butthole. But alas, we will not be reviewing a mediocre game based off an equally lackluster juvenile show, although I would love to see the fragile rage of fans in the comments below. Instead, we have ourselves an anime RPG that is now out on the Nintendo Switch. For once on the side of Switch games, I come with good tidings. This is an excellent port. Granted, the Switch doesn't have much to contend with graphically or mechanically here, but as many Switch owners have learned in the past couple of years, not every port turns out to be worth your while, or just functional. Now let's talk about the game itself. You play Alex, a young boy, man, human, whose father, the headmaster of the school Alex attends, has not returned after leaving on an expedition around the world of Pedra. Now it's up to you to save him. And by that I mean it's up to you to summon other students from your school to fight your battles while you cowardly hide along the sidelines. Adventure Academia is a tactical, grid-based RPG that bears some similarities to the 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿 series. You summon fighters onto the map and clear based on the map objectives, which in my gameplay so far has been the expected kill all of the things. The twist here is that you play the summoner Alex, who is useless. I mean, I guess to be fair, he does have a magic spell, but otherwise he doesn't do any damage, and if he dies, the battle is over. Now, while the protagonist is akin to a magical sack of potatoes, the many students we summon to combat for us are not. The game offers over 10 different races, each with unique abilities and specialties that they bring to the battlefield. While most of these are fairly standard, such as the fairies having healing abilities, I did love that the cat race stayed true to some cat-like features, in that they are uncontrollable bringers of destruction that charge into battle, regardless of how low their health is or how far away the healers are. And that lack of control is not just a feature of the cat race, although they do take it further than others. Adventure Academia actually takes out all the tedium of manually selecting moves or foes to focus on for your fights. Instead, all of your characters auto-attack, and their range is dependent on the race and the traits the character has. Outside of auto-attacking, you can pick up your team like little wiggly worms and plop them near Alex if they are in danger or if Alex is in danger. Other times, you swap out characters based on the enemies around you and your movement speed. You can also use spells, which each character has and are all unique to them. I'm not sure how the game decides you can use your spells, since it felt somewhat random when I was able to cast a spell and when I wasn't, so I ended up ignoring this feature for the most part. And of course, there are also plenty of features that you would expect from an RPG. You can level up your character, equip them with stronger weapons, expand their abilities, shop for powerful equipment, etc., etc. Personally, I found the gameplay decently fun. I would compare it to a mobile game almost, but with more strategy and finesse in the combat depending on the scenario. It's definitely got an addictive itch to it that will keep you playing. But I must say that at times I did become quite frustrated when the game didn't explain a mechanic or a boss battle, to the point that I had to scroll through YouTube crossing my fingers that someone got stuck at the same place as I did and see how they figured it out. Luckily, I did find a person and I was able to continue playing the game, but otherwise, the review might have ended pretty early on in the game. Coupled with that addictive gameplay are gorgeous visuals and audio design. While I wouldn't consider myself an anime fan, the art style in Adventure Academia is everything I love about anime art. It is polished, detailed, and vibrant in its use of lush colors, with every character design made strikingly unique, sometimes to the game's detriment. Like the image of the Onyx character that will forever haunt my nightmares for decades to come. But anime, why? This is a fantasy world, I understand. But what is going on with your proportions? Why are the zippers on the ocean people's clothes so massive? Why does this weird bug creature have a spike protruding from their clothing and chest? Why does Alex look like a child trying on Papa's work uniform and orb scepter? Also, anyone else think that the way Alex holds a scepter is a bit odd? Perhaps he plans to take you to his dungeon later and whack you with it? Except not in the hot way, cause he looks like a child. But also his female companions, Citrine and Lazuli, are thirsty for his prepubescent looking cheeks. But also he speaks maturely, but also his voice sounds like a young girl, and just why? Why? And of course, the answer we all know is because anime. My own spiraling madness aside, the music is fantastical delight. Similar to the gameplay, it won't end up on your playlist for future listens, but the music is very pleasant and fits the tone of the world and its atmosphere. And for the voice acting, wow! It is professional quality voiceover and sounds straight out of an anime episode, and probably helped by the fact that all the voice acting is in Japanese. My youth of endlessly watching anime came rushing back to me with the sounds of Citrine and the desire to choke her and pinch her cheeks with equal force. But I must fault the voice acting for one strange quirk: the pauses between pieces of dialogue in the same piece of speech. Essentially, a character would have two lines, and between the first and second one, sometimes there'd be this gap of silence that I'd assume meant that the voice actor was done speaking, so I'd press the button to go to the next piece of dialogue, but actually there's more, and I accidentally skipped a line. And it was hard for me to know if they said all their lines because, as I said before, the voice acting was in Japanese, which I don't speak. To recap, the gameplay is basic but addicting, the art is gorgeous, the music is fun and appropriate, the voice acting is professional as fuck, and the Switch port runs perfectly. So, if you're keen on RPGs, you like animes, you want to play on your Switch, and everything you've seen and heard so far speaks to you, Adventure Academia has Rose's seal of approval. Follow these anime academics into adventure.
ほんと使えないやつ。やろうども、アレクを超スペシャルギッタギタにしちゃって。来るっすよ、アレク殿。なんとか止めてみせる。